Hey, y'all, thanks for checking out the From the Captain's Quarters podcast. We are proudly brought to you by Captain Coop's Beard Company. For all your beard needs, we got the beard oils, the beard balms, the beard butters. We got you covered, fellas, or ladies with facial hair. But also our new line of CBD products, including CBD body butter, CBD lotion. We got that ink balm for all you tattooed freaks out there, and Tortuga, our personal lubricant. Check it all out at CaptainCoops.com. Don't forget 10% off when you use the promo code podcast at checkout, CaptainCoops.com. The show is also brought to you by Appearon Northfields, formerly Everything Hemp LLC. Delta 8 products, Delta 9 products, CBD tinctures, body creams, body everything. If you need CBD goodies, they got it all. Still working on that new website, so you can currently find them at everythinghempllc.com. Also on the social medias. Give them a follow, give them a like, and get yourself some of that D9. It is the From the Captain's Quarters podcast, along with Cooper and flashback story here. It's my buddy Josh Gallagher is hanging out with me. So I'm at Old Red in Nashville. My buddy Warren Garrett, who's been on the show before, was playing. He's like, "Yeah, we're playing down at Old Red, so come on down." So we're like, "All right, cool." We're hanging in Nashville for a couple of days. It was our last night there, and so we had some dinner, and then we had some drinks. And we made our way to the bar. Now, here's where things took a turn. We were paying cash at the bar at first. And then a credit card got brought out, and it was like, we live here now. We just fucking live here now. And I got a chance to be introduced to Josh because he was playing there that night. And I was like, dude, probably all like Wisconsin sloppy drunk. Like, hey, man, I have a podcast. You should be on it. And reluctantly, I'm not sure if I got some like photographic, blackmail evidence or something, but he's here. He's now Josh Gallagher is on the show. How you doing, my friend?
Good, buddy. How are you, man?
Doing good, man. Like I said, we survived our Nashville trip, and it was so great, to be as heavily involved in the music industry as I have been for the past 2 decades plus, to get down there and especially after whatever the fuck the last like 2.5 years has been.
Yeah, no shit.
To get down there and to breathe in live music again in that city is it's something special. So it sucks to be back. I mean, it's great to be back home.
It's great,
but
yeah.
But it was great to get a chance to see you guys perform and tear it up. And I was intrigued by obviously us meeting and watching you guys perform and just rip it up there in Nashville. And I was like, man, I got to hear the story behind it, and that's why we're here today. So, Pennsylvania guy, born and raised.
Yeah, born and raised. Yep. I've been here in Nashville for 8 years, so my whole life I spent in Pennsylvania. Yep.
So what's young Josh's life like? Has music always been an integral part of it? Was it something that was kind of like fed into you from family? Like where did it find its way into your ear hole and then obviously never escape?
Yeah, right. Now I'm stuck with it for the rest of my fucking life. And like in the fucking best way possible. Most times it's the best way. It'd be frustrating sometimes. But anyway, that's later in the story. No, man, I don't know where the fuck it came from. I have no clue. Not a clue. Because there's nobody else is a musician or does music or plays or sings or anything like that in my family. And I just I don't know. I just one day, I grew up playing, sports and baseball and football and just one day I decided that I wanted to learn how to play guitar. So I was 10 or 9 or some shit. And I asked my parents to get me a guitar and they did. And I just started teaching myself how to play. And now I will say, I'm going to back up a little bit. I will say this. If you ask my mom will tell you that I was singing before I could even talk. So if you can figure that shit out, like in the McDonald's right down the road in my hometown, me and my dad would go there just about every morning. I feel like either my mom or dad or both of us or all 3 of us together. But at one point, man, I don't even know how old I was. I might have been I was between 5 and 8 was kind of ballpark.
That's the window. Okay.
But I was in the bathroom and I was in there forever. And then one of the workers came out and said, real small town. And they come up to my mom and dad and said, Josh is in there singing in the bathroom, right? And it's, perfect bathroom reverb echo from the wall. So it sounded awesome. How we all know how that bathroom echoes everywhere, every public restroom that you use.
The acoustics are stellar in here in the McDonald's bathroom.
They are. They're great. I love it. Yeah. Singing in bathrooms is the shit. I still do it. So yeah, I don't know if it came from that or if it was like, I just don't know where it came from. I picked up a guitar, started playing one day and teaching myself. And then, in middle school, I was in, I was in band for a little while, and I think like 6th and 7th grade or something like that. I played saxophone actually. So I don't know where it came from. It just kind of hit me one day, I guess, as a kid. And then as I kept learning, teaching myself different chords and figuring it out with my ear before all this YouTube stuff, you couldn't go on and, look to learn how to play a song. I could actually listen to it and try to figure it the fuck out. Yeah, man, that's just kind of how it happened. And then I always grew up, I was playing in different, shitty little high school garage bands and my last year of middle school probably into 9th grade, I guess, we go play like little battle of the bands things and little shows around town. And it wasn't anything to turn your head at or anything. It was just a couple of kids having fun making music or making the best out of whatever music that they were making at the time and dragging our parents into it. And they supported us and it was all great. But then it turned into that kind of disbanded a little bit because getting into high school, sports and girls and jobs and the workload increases as you get into high school too. So it's kind of like we kind of stopped playing, but I never put my guitar down though. I always played it. I was always really shy though. So I would play by myself and learn songs and if no one was at the house, even if my parents weren't home, I would do it. But if my mom or dad was like, "Hey, go get your guitar," and we're sitting there we're hanging out on the porch. It's just those two, nobody else around. Be like, "Nah, I ain't doing that." I was always shy about it. I don't know why, but yeah, I just always picked up my guitar and always played and sang and taught myself how to play shit. And then I went to college after I graduated high school, and I was trying to play real quiet in my dorm room one day, but dorm room walls are about that fucking thin and
well constructed.
Really, really well built. But they're about that thin, and I was trying to play quiet one day, and I had my door shut, and I guess I wasn't as quiet as I thought I was being. I don't know if I was getting into whatever song it was or but somebody came and knocked on my door, and I thought I was in trouble or something, it was one of the RAs. But no, it was another student, a few rooms down, and they were like, "Was that you?" And I was like, "Yeah." They were like, "Leave your fucking door open. That shit sounds good." So I kind of started getting a little bit of confidence there, and then eventually I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If people are going to hear it, they're going to hear it. If they're going to like it, they're going to like it. If they don't, they don't, So, so I did that. And then just kind of how it went from there. I played baseball in college, and then I realized that I was way better at partying and not going to class. So
I get it.
So I ended up, So I ended up dropping out of school, moving back in with my parents, and then kind of started playing shows again. Just doing a little acoustic by myself shows at the different bars and around town. And eventually each show kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I started playing, bigger bars, and bars turned into clubs, and then the clubs turned into bigger venues. And I did that for about 2 years, and then in the midst of all of that, I met my wife, Lindsay, and she had 2 years left in college anyway. And after she graduated, she said she wanted to move out of state to work. So that's whenever the whole Nashville being a possibility to move down here kind of thing kind of came about. I was 20. I'd have been 22 or 23, I guess. So that's kind of the long short way around. I could give you a longer version, but
and then I walked into another bar, and then I don't remember.
And then I left my car, and then I was like, shit, I don't know where it's at.
Oops. A lot of oopses fell into that
Yep.
time
Cancel
frame.
that card. Get another one.
Yeah, I've had a lot of oops moments in my life. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
As you talk about that progression of growing up and singing at a young age and picking up the guitar and self teaching yourself, like were there memorable musical influences that you were more drawn to, that a sound or not necessarily a genre maybe, but like a group of artists that you were like, man, like I like that, or I like the way that this person plays guitar, or this artist sounds when he's on stage. Were there those artists that influenced you in that kind of that growth period from maybe not 5 to 8, but picking up the guitar and starting to
play like 8 to 10.
Yeah, that's when the real influence in life starts. Is that 8 to 10 window? It's when you start getting into the real shit.
No, man. 100, absolutely. So, and it's weird because I've always liked different styles and different genres of music. So like whenever I was teaching myself how to play, whenever I was young, the first song I learned how to play, just because I knew it, everybody knows the melody, was Mary Had a Little Lamb. I learned how to play it on one string with one finger, and I figured it out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, if I can do that, and I just kept going on forward. But like some of the earliest stuff that I remember learning and teaching myself how to play, oddly enough, was some of the hardest shit that you probably could try to teach yourself how to play. Like I was huge into Dave Matthews because of my brother. My brother used to listen to Dave Matthews back in the day, and so I just kind of locked onto that sound, from him and my sister. And then like they were big into Incubus, and then so was I, because of that. But then I started branching off into my own little portal of music, and I'd get into, I'd do the Jack Johnsons, and then eventually that turned into like some emo stuff, like Silverstein or The Used, or like just, and then from there it goes to, like Atreyu and Avenged Sevenfold, those like heavy, hardcore guys and that kind of shit. And then
were you learning some Sinister Gates riffs there? Just
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I'll never be that good. Still, I'll never be that good. I'm a hell of a rhythm guitar player, and if that people are like, I'm really good at that, I can do that for sure. But all that cool, I don't know how to move my fingers that fast and do all this the sweepy scales and all that. I'm like, I don't fucking know. I probably could learn if I sat down.
Well, nowadays it's that shit's on YouTube, so you just go and watch that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hours on end.
Exactly. You just take a 30-second clip, right, and just keep rewinding it and keep learning how to do it. Yeah. So it's a little bit easier now, but like no, it was a lot of that stuff, But then, I've always had country music in my life influenced because of my parents. They've always listened to country, and whenever you're a kid riding in the car, you listen to what your parents listen to because they didn't give a shit what you want to listen to. It's I'm driving, it's my car.
Shut up back there. I don't care what you want. Yeah. Put your seatbelt on and shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Get back in your car seat or whatever. But yeah, man. So I've always been influenced by country, and especially the songwriting, the lyrical content and storytelling behind the song. It's always caught my ear. But like I've always, my dad loves Toby Keith and Dwight Yoakam, and those were like the first two country artists that I like locked onto. And from being out at, whether it's be in the car or the truck, or we had a camp growing up in Glendale, PA. Shout out Glendale. But we had a camp out there, and we'd go and open up camp on the weekend, and first thing you do is fridge right inside the door, and you turn on the radio, and it's always on country, So I've had a lot of different influences, like even the whole way to like Chameleonaire and T.I. and like all those like kind of underground like rap guys and shit. You know what I mean? So I've had there were several phases that I went through that I still actually listen to now, man, to be honest with you. I mean, I might be driving around and be like, you know what? Today seems like a Taking Back Sunday kind of day, or like, so like I just have different tastes and different avenues, and I think that kind of helps come through a little bit in my music, at least like the rock and the heavy rock guitar side of it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that
a lot of different influences.
right, but I think that it feels like today's country has become really accepting of more influences than just that genre. You know, it's
Yeah.
you can still.
Absolutely.
I mean, you mentioned Dwight, who was. I mean, that dude. I mean, I'd vote for him for president. It'd be amazing.
He rocks. Yeah.
But
that denim jacket and tight flared jeans, the
swinging
cowboy
the hips,
hat,
man.
Rhinestones. Oh God,
dude, dude's gotten the same haircut.
That's a whole thing. Yeah,
he's gotten the same fucking haircut since like '74. He's like, I don't give a shit.
It's because
cut it the same way.
He's like, fuck it, it works. It's been working, so fucking keep it.
Right, but you have
dude.
There's so much of the staying in your lane stuff that I know people talk about. Well, stay in your lane, but with country and the way it's evolved, it feels like you can still have those roots influences when you talk about the old stuff. We talk about Waylon and Willie and Johnny Cash and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the progression into a George Strait where the big change happened, into a Garth where the change happened, into the '90s country, it's just continued to evolve. So I think you having that palette for a plethora of different sounds, when it almost seems like it's an assistant to when you're trying to write a song, because you're like, I don't need to stay in my lane necessarily. I can incorporate maybe a lyrical blend from a hip hop song if it fits into it.
Or any of that. You have a lot, stuff.
But
which you have a lot of that in country music now, and there's people will sit here and they'll bash country music for especially the really traditional country guys, and hey man, no, to each your own. Do your thing. If this is your style over here, that's your style. If this is your style over here, do you, man. If you like that old stuff, that old traditional nudie suit country, fucking let's go. I love that shit too. But like, I think there is room. I like how more accepting the genre has become. Now, am I going to sit here and say that I love everything that's about country music? How do I say this? Be very choosy in my words. I'll just fucking say it. Am I crazy about everything on country radio? No, absolutely not.
Right.
But a lot of other people are, and I'm not going to bash you for that. I think the whole thing of like the whole battle thing of like that's not country or this isn't country is kind of like, get the fuck over it, man. Who cares? Like, at the end of the day, if it's a good fucking song, it's a good fucking song. Like, that's just like, and that I say that from like the songwriter standpoint. I mean, like, I'll hear a song and I'm like, if I cut that, or if I would have cut that, or could have, I wouldn't have done it that way. But it's still a really good fucking song. Like, you know what I mean? So the acceptance in that country music has had in all other genres kind of mixing and blending, and now you have your mashups between like hip hop and some rap and country and stuff. I lean more towards that rock side.
Yeah,
definitely way more with some big distortion, fat guitar, but all the ground, the bark and the little chunky country and jump stuff. But and hey, if that's your bag, cool. If it's not, cool. I'm not going to sit here and judge it, so.
No, I think I'm such a mood guy when it comes to music. Like, it all depends. Like, on like today,
sure.
I mean, like you mentioned, like today I'm going to, drive home and I'm feeling this. I'm feeling, I'm feeling, I'm going to listen to Dwight for a while. And then maybe I am going to pop on some T.I. And then maybe it's like low pro.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
it's 311.
Yeah, dude, fuck it.
Yeah. But I think there's a time and place for everything. Some people are just not quite. Again, they're staying in their lane. People like, here's where I am, and I'm not going to change. I'm not going to listen to anything outside of this because everything else sucks. But to each their own.
Exactly right. And if that's you, then fucking do you, man, and own that shit too. Like, and don't be ashamed if you're not that.
Right.
If you're more accepting towards other sounds and more different musical influences in the country music genre or whatever. But just like if you know that you're not that and you know that you're this, just own that shit. Because I feel like a lot of people are more accepting towards like different sounds and influences into country music. They just don't want to say that they are because they don't want to like. And the majority of it's pop country now, really, pretty much. So it's like it's all what's popular, and a lot of people I feel like don't, even though they might not believe or think that that's what is actually country, they're not going to say that.
Right.
I feel like sometimes.
So
or I could be a complete fucking idiot. I don't know.
We could be just two idiots talking shit.
Yes, exactly.
It is
right.
what it is.
Yeah.
But so we talked about, we kind of got off base a little bit there with the story, but, moving to Nashville, obviously you talked about meeting your wife and her wanting to move out of state. Moving to Nashville, like what is that experience like? Obviously she probably had a good career. She probably has, went to college.
Yeah, she does.
Probably found a good job. But for you, moving to Nashville and the lights and everything that's going on, going down to Broadway, going to off Broadway, all the places, music starting at like 9:00 in the morning, $75 to park. Like, what is that experience like when you first get down there and embrace the culture that is Nashville, Tennessee?
Well, once you get past if you can get past the 10 fucking hour drive to get down here, it's actually pretty cool. No, it's kind of here, I'll put it to you this way. So I'm gonna try to paint a picture for you. Whenever we first moved here, and it wasn't even when we first moved here, actually, it was whenever we were looking for apartments to move down here. So we came down to visit to look for apartments and stuff before we moved down here. We did that twice. And the first time we were down here, you come up on Broadway, you get off of 65 and you take a left if you're going south.
Yep.
And you come down Broadway and it's kind of flat, and then it kind of goes up a little hill, levels off, and then it starts to go downhill towards Fifth Ave. And that's when it was like, I don't know. It was like when those lights come up over that hill and through your windshield and into your eyeballs for the very first time, you're like, holy shit. Like, it was like, oh, like it was the shit, man. So
angels start singing and doves start flying and shit. Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was awesome. And I still I've been here for 8 years, and I don't we don't really go out on Broadway and stuff anymore unless I'm playing or we're playing tour guide with somebody. But even still, sometimes I'll be driving down there at nighttime and the lights are shining, and I'm like, this is still pretty fucking cool though. Right. But it's great though, man. It's like for her, whenever we moved down here, she was online looking for jobs, not applications and stuff, and for the most part, she figured that because she wanted to teach. She wanted to be a teacher. So she got her dream teaching job. She's a daycare teacher she teaches 12 little shithead 3-year-olds every day. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're not shitheads. I call them shit, but they're good kids. But so she landed her job, right? And I figured, I was going to be doing music in some form or fashion down here. I just didn't know how the fuck to do that, because there's not a website that you can Google or go on and be like, job applications for here. My name's John. I'm a singer and I'm from blah blah blah. Right. And I want to come down to Nashville to play. And will you hire? There's none of that. It's like you got to figure that shit out, or make friends with somebody who knows how to help you figure that shit out. Right. So what it was for me was I started going down on Broadway, and because that's the first place I saw that had music. I knew I was in Nashville, so there's music everywhere, right, but I didn't know exactly where everything was. So I was like, well, this is the first thing I saw, so I'm going to go to here. Mm-hmm. And I know there's a million bars with a band on each floor, and I know that somebody in there can at least get me in touch with someone who books something.
Right.
So I did that for a little bit, and nothing was ending up working out in that aspect. I was having a hard time getting people to either let me talk to whoever booked the place, or the engineer, obviously, because the engineer knows the booker, and or if they would give me a card and I'd reach out and never hear anything back, right? But there was a group of girls that I met down here, Haley and Sarah. They're actually they're called the Steel Blossoms, and if you get a chance to look them up, they're the shit. But quickly became friends with them because they're from Pittsburgh, they're from Pennsylvania too. We didn't know each other before we moved down here. It was just that kind of thing. Yeah. And they said that Tootsie's Back Room every Saturday from 2 to 6 or something like that. They do like not auditions, but you can go up and sing or play or whatever your thing is. You can go up there. They'll let you go up there and do that. So I went up there and I did that a couple times, and then if they like what they hear or whatever, they give you this paper and you fill out your name, address, all this bio, and how many songs do you know, and this whole thing. And so I did that for a little bit, a couple Saturdays in a row, until they finally reached out to me and asked, kind of, then that was like kind of the interview process, I guess. Right. So that was for like Tootsie's and Rippy's and Honky Tonk Central, those 3 bars, because they're all owned by the same people. And if you play at one, you play at all 3, kind of like a little circuit, So I started playing there. I started playing acoustic shows there in the mornings, back room, and I did that for a little bit, and that started going a little bit better. And they started putting me with a band, and so I started playing with a band who I actually met my now guitar player through playing those backrooms gigs, and so that's kind of how that whole thing went. Now I did that for a few years, a year and a half, 2 years. And in the midst of all that, I started meeting other people on Broadway to play at other clubs and other bars. And then I was like, okay, well, this is cool, but I didn't move here to play covers for the rest of my life. So how do I figure out who I need to meet to help me get my foot in the songwriter door? Because I figured, to the best of my knowledge, songs have to be written for them to get cut, for them to get on the radio, for there's I'm no genius, but songs have to be written for all that stuff to happen.
There's not some magic quiet room where they just poof.
Right, exactly.
Now we have the music.
Yes, exactly. So I figured, I was like, well, let me I already write songs, so let me see if I can find some people or meet some people who would be willing to introduce me to other people to get me in the songwriter kind of community. And I met a few people that way, and then I cut my time back on Broadway, so that way I could pursue more of the songwriter stuff. I really just go out and network at these songwriter locations like Live Oak and Tin Roof and Winners and Losers, the local Bluebird, Listening Room, all these great places, Third and Lindsley, and then you meet people, and you meet a few more people, and you kind of start running around with a little crew who you start writing songs with, and you figure out that you might not fit with a couple, like this crew might be good stuff, but it's not really a good hang, or a better hang could be over here with these guys or these crew. And then you kind of just sift through all the bullshit, really, until you figure out, like, okay, this is how I could possibly keep, money coming in and all that other shit, keep a roof over my head. And I could definitely write songs for a living if I practice my ass off and really, really get good at it.
Right.
And then in the midst of all of that shit, there's this little show that pops up and says, we want you to come on our show. It's called The Voice.
Heard of it.
So,
heard
yeah, maybe like once or twice heard of it. But yeah, man, that's kind of the gist of the whole Nashville, like getting here and figuring all that shit out. Cause it's like, I knew I was going to play music. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. So it was kind of one of those things where you have to kind of test yourself too, because especially like coming from a small town, like my town has 2,000 people in it. Like, right. I know everybody, Yeah. And if you've never been outside of the little, small town world that you lived in, you might not be so eager to just jump into a situation that you've never been into. That shit's uncomfortable. So it's like, you've got to challenge yourself too, to like, it's easy to just go, nah, I'll do it again. I'll try tomorrow, and then never happen, But like, if you want some shit to happen for yourself, especially in this town like that, and you don't know how to do it, pick your nuts up and figure that shit out.
Yeah.
And quit being shy, go play the game and network with people. And you'll find that, people are generally pretty accepting of, and willing to help. So it's, it's a weird bird down here. It really is. There's no Nashville. If there was a Nashville how-to, everybody would be doing it. But,
right. I think that what is the phrase is when you become comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
That's the fucking secret. It's like, this sucks, but I still have to fucking do it because if I want to reach point B, and it's so true. Like again, my first real Nashville experience was this past trip down there, because it was not just being on Broadway. You know, we had a chance to go to Live Oak one night. They were doing in around was there, and you just get like I have a better. I don't have a better understanding. I'm not writing the fucking manual on how it should be done.
Yeah,
but you really get like a perspective of like, okay, I understand what Broadway is. Like as soon as you went to Live Oak, I'm like, okay, I get, you know, the separation of church and state down here, because
for sure.
But in both places in that whole town, like it oozes with this crazy amount of talent. Just
it's ridiculous.
It's amazing.
Man. There's so many people. Yeah,
everybody. I mean, it's it's not just a clever country song, but everybody plays, everybody sings, but it's
true.
For you though, going down there, moving in, obviously wanting to have this future in music, whether it be performing, songwriting, a combination of both. Like, did you have any expectations? Did you have like any preconceived notions going down there? Like, oh, well, you go down to Nashville, and then you play Tootsies, and then you get on the circuit, then you're playing, and then all of a sudden, like the guy calls and he's like, here's your contract, we'd like you to cut an album, and we're going to pay for your tour bus, and we want you to go out and do 3 months on. Like, it's probably not really in real life how that happens.
Right. No, I mean, at least that's the goal, you know, and that's been my goal from day one. I mean, we didn't. I say but I didn't move down here. We didn't move down here to not have this shit work,
Right. Yeah.
So, but no, like I didn't think about any of that shit, to be honest with you, because my main goal was like, that's the goal, that is the 100% end goal. It always was, and always will be. Right. But at the time, my goals were short term. Meet dude who books place. Get dude to book you at said place. Get good at playing said place. Play bigger shows at said place. Meet dude who books another spot. Then it just like these very, very short-term wins will eventually, help you capitalize on your big end goal. So it was never a thing where like I could feel though, like you feel it if you do it. If you do it and do it enough, and you're down there, you're just grinding and busting your shit in every day, scraping your nose with the fucking pavement, like you'll start to feel like you're gaining a little bit of momentum. And that may be a call from a producer, or it may be as little as, getting a call or meeting somebody who's seen you sing and they need somebody to fill it. They need a singer to fill in. Because their singer got sick at another bar.
Right.
That might be a little bit like it's like it could be very, very vast. Like so it's the end goal is obviously to do that, to cut the record and have the tour bus and have this and that. But for me, at least, coming down here is like that wasn't my focus at the time. My focus was how am I gonna put my foot in the door and make people notice, and also hopefully make a little bit of money so I can pay for his fucking apartment. And all,
I would like to
here and like live and
I love Nashville. I would like to live on the streets of it. It's just small things in life.
Yeah. Now, I mean, there have been people in the past that have done it. I mean, Jimmy Allen, who we all know now, he's a huge country star now, but dude used to live in his car and go around and play shows and do all this. Like, so it's just like I said a few minutes ago. It's a weird bird. You could be playing your ass off and still not be making enough money to help you pay bills and stuff like that. And then is it do you get rid of the apartment and live in your car and save your money or from what are the shows that you're playing, or do you get a side job to supplement them? You know, like, so there's a lot of options that you can do that will eventually get you to your goal. I just knew that coming down here, all I wanted to do was fucking play music. That's all I wanted to do. So whether that had been playing 3 shifts a day, 6 days a week for 2 years, or playing half of those shifts and working aside or whatever, you know, I just knew that the end goal for me was to play music and do music only, you know. So
I mean, there's a lot of from your story, it sounds like a lot of stacking victories, getting in the door.
A lot of little wins,
a lot of very little wins, and the, you know, the end line continues to move, but you continue to, you know, maybe make another step ahead of it the more of those victories that you put under your belt. I want to talk about getting this call from The Voice. How does that world enter into yours, and what goes into the decision-making process to be like, this is a real golden opportunity for me to really, again, stack another big victory onto the ones you've already had, you know, under your feet.
Songwriter world, man. So I was doing the whole Broadway thing, and as I'm cutting back my time on Broadway to spend more time in, you know, Songwriter Town, which is like Midtown and Music Row and places like the Listening Room and all, you know, West End, those kind of places, Belmont area, whatever. In the midst of all that, I'm trying to get my foot in the songwriter door. So I find this place in Midtown called The Row, and it's on Lyle Avenue. And if you're ever in town again, whoever's listening or going to be watching this, go check out The Row, because their food's badass and their artists that they have in there are great. But I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I stumbled upon getting to play this. Oh, I know what it was. They used to do open mics, so you could come in and do like an open mic thing, and if they liked, they'd give you a call back. That's kind of like how a lot of these like songwriter, you know, rounds or things work. Yeah. So I played there a couple times, and then Mike Peck is the guy who books all that stuff over there, and then he ended up giving me a call, and I kept playing there and playing there. I had a steady Thursday every Thursday. I had a thing there, and it was only 1 hour. It was acoustic by yourself, and they do a new artist every hour. So you get the chance to play a lot of original stuff. It's more of an original, like a songwriter kind of place. But you can mix in some covers and stuff like that, because it is a dinner crowd, so you want to make sure you're still keeping the attention of the people. Right. And lo and behold, this one Thursday, I was on stage, and Mike's sitting right here at the corner of the bar, and in the middle or after one of whatever song it was that I was singing, it was kind of dead that night. But he asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to audition for The Voice? And I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Like, what do I got to do? He's like, what song are you singing next? I was like, I don't know yet. I wing it. Like, I just figured that shit out on the fly. And
I like this one.
Yeah, this one seems like it would fit the last one that I don't fucking know, but yeah, I just wing it. And but anyway, I was like, fuck it, I'll sing some Chris Stapleton or something like that. And so I started singing, playing this song "Fire Away," which was a huge hit for him. Yeah. And I started singing this song, and he takes a little whatever minute video or whatever it was, and sends it into his contact. And about 20 minutes later, while I was still on stage, he said that they wanted me down in Atlanta the next week for a private audition. So that, like, I feel like because I started making the transition from playing, 4-hour cover sets downtown to, trying to further my chances of making it in this fucking town, right, by getting into songwriter land and meeting the people that actually can possibly make shit happen for you. I feel like it was contributed, to me making that decision, and I'll never ever regret making that decision. But so I go down there and I do the private audition, and I was like one of the first ones to go. I had to sing at like 10:30 or some shit in the morning, and I'm like, fuck.
Let me get last night on my throat.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, let me wake up at fucking 6, and then that way I can start warming up by 8, and like, so that way I kind of have like, at least I sound like half decent, because it's hard as fuck to sing in the morning.
Right.
And so I go in there and I sing, and I sang "Fire Away" again, and I sang That was a Thomas Rhett song. I can't remember which one it was, but and then they have you sing to like a backing track also, so you can go in there and play and sing. It's that at the private auditions, it's not the acapella stuff.
Right.
I did that twice before, and that didn't end up working out. But I guess third time's the charm, because they wanted me in Atlanta. So playing and singing, and then you have to sing with like a backing track. So I sent them a track for "Almost Home" by Craig Morgan, one of my favorite songs ever, and I was singing to it, and they're like coaching me. They have a camera there and a big thing around it says "smile," like this kind of thing. And maybe not as creepy as I just did it, but
no, that's how I'm going to envision that from now on. Every time I watch the show, I'm be like,
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. But no, it was like that because they like it's not just a singing that's not just a singing show or competition. Right. It's a reality TV show too. So they want to make sure that you're good on camera. The camera likes what it sees. So like they have to do that in the middle of you singing and trying not to fuck up words and sound good. They're all over there like, and it's probably like more of a training thing too, because like once you get on the show, it's like chaos. So there's all kinds of shit going around you while you're trying to sing. But I sang in the morning. They kept me all fucking day. And then they brought me in at the end of the day after everybody left. And they were like, all right, so here's the deal. They were like, you just auditioned for season 12 of The Voice, which is going to be this next season, will be the spring season of 2017. But we just had some people leave the show and some spots open up on season 11, which is being filmed right now. And they're about to start filming it in about a month. And we want to bump you up to that season. So I was like, well, fuck yeah, let's go. I was like, all right, cool. Give me some details. They kind of gave me the rundown. I was like, cool. When do I gotta leave? They were like, fucking tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So I called my wife and I was like, hey, you're not gonna fucking believe this, but so I told her the whole story, that whole spiel I just told you, and I had to drive 4 hours back up to Nashville and like I wasn't talking to her because of like permission, like, babe, can I go do this? That kind of thing. It was more of like a, hey, do you think that I could fucking do this?
Right.
More of that, like just like a reassurance thing, And she was super fucking pumped, and like she's like, yeah, you better fucking do that. She's like, I'm proud of you for going down there and doing that, what you did, but like, who knows what could happen with your career if you go on there and you actually go and do the thing, right? So it was like more of an encouragement thing. But I had to drive 4 hours back. I had to pack for a month. I had to do like 3 months worth of paperwork in like less than like 12 hours at that point, and like prepare to not see my wife, who's my fiance then. Yeah. Prepare to not see my wife for like a month. And at that point in our relationship, we hadn't been apart from each other for like a week, before that. So I had to like mentally prepare that I wasn't going to see her for a month. And just this like big ass flood of emotions, dude. And it's like, you jump on a plane at 5 a.m. and all right, well, I don't know what it was kind of, to be honest with you, you know what it felt like? It was kind of like, it was like a brand new, it was like just fucking moving to Nashville all over again. Yeah. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, yeah.
My hands are off the wheel.
It was like
no control.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what the hell's about to happen, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure this shit out. Right. I hope,
So you get out to,
so man, it was crazy, dude. It was nuts.
It's so interesting to hear like the process, how the functionality of it, because obviously as a viewer of the show, you're like, oh well, they're obviously they got them all here and they probably had time to prepare. Their family know, and but your situation being like, no, tomorrow, asshole, like get on the plane. We're going exactly. To the dance. But you get out there. What's that? Nashville's one thing. Obviously, you talked about small town, PA, 2,000 people. Yeah. Nashville, big jump. LA,
huge.
Fuck.
Bigger jump.
Fuck. Right? Like,
yeah.
Fuck are all these? Where the fuck all these people come from? Like,
that's like jumping. That's like fucking putting moon shoes on, and just when you're a kid, and just like, whoa. It's like fuck. Yeah. What the fuck was that? Yeah. Absolutely.
All within the course of like Nashville, Atlanta, Nashville, LA. Like what?
LA, right?
Like, like, is it just chaos? Is there any control, or is it just like, all right, we're, put a little gas in the tank because you got to fucking floor it for the next X amount of days, weeks, months?
No, not right. Exactly. It's just like, well, first of all, like I said, whenever they were like, okay, you're jump on a plane tomorrow. I'm like, I get on the plane. I'm like, all right, well, like, I'm here. I guess there's no fucking turning back for now. If I want to, they're not gonna let me off this bitch unless I cause a scene or some shit. But,
right.
But no plan. I had no clue what I was getting into. It was like they sent me a whole bunch of emails with like what to expect, and here's like, and like a schedule and all that shit. So I had a schedule to where they would come to get me off of the plane, and I would go to here, and then from there I would go to here and here back to the hotel, and then from the hotel to like, this is just day one. I'm like, holy fuck, because I was a late ad, so they had to expedite my shit, because the people that were already out there were there for like a month even before I got there.
Right.
Like doing pre-production shit and like show run throughs and getting your makeup palettes all figured out so that way you can look exactly the same for every episode, and wardrobe and like this whole crazy fucking mess. So it's like you go from trying to get your shit figured out in Nashville to, okay, we're just gonna fucking, here you go. I'm gonna throw you right the fuck in it out in LA for The Voice. And it was some shit that I obviously never experienced before. Yeah. that it was a little scary, kind of. It was a little nerve wracking, and just because it was another one of those things where I was like, I'm uncomfortable. This is weird. I've never done this. It was unfamiliar territory, kind of like moving down here,
Right.
Like, so that's why I equate the two a lot. But overall, dude, it was the shit, man. It was fucking fun. I had a blast out there. I had a lot of fun because and then you get lucky. For me though, I once again, because I was a late ad, that whole first week they didn't have me in the schedule for anything to do after that first day that I got there. So I landed in LA. I went straight to wardrobe. They rifled through all my shit to see what I could possibly wear on screen, because they don't give you a whole bunch of wardrobe at that time yet, because they're not sure if you're going to even get a chair turn or make it on the show. So right. They'll help you out a little bit with some stuff if you need a jacket or like a no logo tee to wear, because that's all I fucking wear is logo t-shirts.
I get you.
Yeah.
I got you.
But right. But they're like, that's where you go over to wardrobe, and then from there it's like, okay, well, you're gonna go across the hall to makeup, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm not wearing makeup, but like it was, yeah, you know what I mean. So I'm like, this was another thing where I'm like, is everyone doing this? I don't know if
is it just me,
or like, are you guys fucking with me right now, or is this a thing? No, but then you go to makeup and they fucking just like cake batter, mix some shit up and dunk your face in it, and they're like, yeah, that looks good. You're gonna look like that every episode, But no, I joke around about that, but they take care of you. But from there, you go back to the hotel, and then you got to go to the production office for like a briefing thing, and then you got to watch like this almost like a training video thing, kind of like it was almost like getting hired at a new job, kind of like at that point, you got to go talk to the boss, and then they, during rush hour when everyone's coming in, we're going to sit you down and you're going to watch the training video and all that stuff. And then after that, it kind of like when the dust settled, I got back to my room. That whole entire week, I wasn't really in the system yet. So I had that whole week to like decompress and like really sit with my thoughts in mostly positive ways, but like in the back of my head, like, I don't know if I can do this still, even though I'm here. Right. But once they throw you in the mix of everything and you get your first schedule and it's busy as fuck, and your very first day you're putting in like 12, 14 hours, and you're like, holy shit, this is way more of a workload than I was doing before. But they do that because, one, they're filming a show. They have a lot of fucking shit to go through and edit and make sure everything's right. But like, I feel like it's also another training aid to help you when like, in the event you do make it far on the show, because the further you make it after you get off the show, the busier you're going to be, the more shit you're going to have to deal with and schedule wise. And so like on the back end, I feel like they really stack you up like that to make you, to kind of get it in your head. Like, okay, if you're not willing to put in the work like this, then,
Yeah. don't have what
you
it
might
takes, yeah.
you might not be able to do it after you get off the show. So at least that's like how my brain like took that whole entire thing. But they put you to work and they take care of you and give you a per diem and stipend check every week so you can run across the street and grab groceries and sneak beer into the hotel in your backpack like you're 15 years old again.
Were there rules? Were there rules against
yeah.
beer? Yeah.
Yeah. No drugs and alcohol per the contract. But after that whole like first week I was out there, I was kind of like walking around, getting the feel for the place, and I found the bar, and I was like, "Ha!" So I was like, "All right, well, I know where the bar is. Let me just kind of let me lay low here for a few days or a week or whatever, and kind of test the waters." So I'd go down to the bar maybe and grab a beer at like noon or some shit. Just go grab a beer and then like just check the place out, make sure there was no like crew or anybody in there that was gonna bitch at me, and then I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm going to get beer. Like, I didn't give a shit. Like, it's a stressful time. So it's like, you know what? Sometimes I just want a beer. And if if you want to, if you want to bitch at me for it, that's cool. I'm just letting you know, I'm going to drink more beer that's in my fridge in my room. So, but yeah. But I mean, yeah. So there was no drugs or alcohol but the further you got, the less they cared about that shit. I feel like they probably like once you get that far in the show, they can kick you off, absolutely. But then they're probably going to have to figure out a story to tell the public why you're not on the show anymore, and that's just more work for them. So the further we all got, like the contestants, like me and Austin and Sundance and Billy and Brandon, like we would all. The further we all got, the more we were like, fuck it, we don't care, we're going to the bar. Like,
try writing me out of this show.
Yeah, you're not getting me. I'm not leaving. You're not going to send me home, like that kind of thing. The further you got, the less they really cared about it. Just as long as you weren't being, stupid about it or anything like that. So yeah. I mean, overall though, man, it was great. I had a fucking awesome time out there. I was hungover a lot.
Sounds like me in Nashville. Like I'm just
perfect. Yep.
Where's the bloody? Where's my $12 Bloody Mary that comes in an 8-ounce cup? Where is that at? Oh,
yeah, exactly right. Yeah, maybe 8 ounces. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of ice in this son of a bitch. I'm not sure what's happening here.
Right, but that's 4 ounces. You just filled that bitch up with ice.
But thank you. Here and a tip. Yeah. All right, cool. We're definitely not in Wisconsin or Pennsylvania anymore. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But what do you like? What was your biggest takeaway? Obviously, you get the chair turns. You get on Team Adam. The first country artist to be with Adam Levine. Like, what are the takeaways? Obviously, you talked about the schedule and kind of almost that being a preparatory thing about this is the kind of chaos you need to become accustomed to. But like, what is some of your biggest takeaways from being a part of that show that you continue to carry with you, or you carried with you post exit?
Yeah. I think the biggest one for me, man, to be honest with you, is, and I've always had a really good work ethic. I started my first job whenever I was, 14 or some shit like that. And I was washing dishes and moved to my next job, which wasn't there, washing dishes instead. But like, I've always had, like, no matter what my like job was at the time, like I've always had a really good work ethic, but nothing in the sense that nothing with that much of a workload. I'll put it that way. Right. So like what I've gathered, the thing I take away most from the show is how much better my work ethic got as far as being able to handle and take on busy as fuck schedules for 12 to 16 hours a day. You know what I mean? So like, and a lot of people, you don't see that on the back end because it's music, right? You just like the consumer just sees the, Facebook ad for the single that's coming out by Cole Swindell or Luke Bryan or Eric Church. They don't see all the work that goes in on the back end. It's kind of like with concerts and shit too. You just see the pageantry in the songs and the lights and smoke and all the cool shit.
Yeah.
But those crew members are there, 24 hours beforehand on 2 hours of sleep, putting together a fucking stage and rigging up trusses and lights and line array speakers and, making sure everything is prim and proper. So like, it's the same thing with like, with the songwriter, the artist world. You know, it's not just you go into a studio and sing a song. And so it's like the song's got to come from somewhere, whether you wrote it or somebody else wrote it. So it's like it literally starts from here, and you work and work and work and work to get that to where it needs to be, so you can go in and cut. And then you got to figure out where you're going to get, you know, your funding for your budget for your record, and run it by your team and make sure. So there's like a lot of work that goes into this stuff. And I think that's my biggest takeaway from it, because like it drives me fucking crazy sometimes how good I am at working for a really long time. And there's sometimes when I'm like, I just gotta turn this shit off. Like,
right.
I'm way too, like, I haven't seen, like, my wife gets off work at 4. She gets home work at 4:30 every day. So I like to try to be done by at least, you know, 5, so I can hang out with her. Because if I'm playing it, you know, 10 o'clock that night, I want to be with her and be with, you know, especially when the baby gets here, you know, like I want to be with my family and shit. So it, like, I gotta like tell myself. There's also bad that comes with that though. Like I gotta tell myself that, hey, dude, you gotta shut this down and go be with, you know, put this away. No more music shit. Go be with your wife and your family. Like, I mean, so like there's definitely a negative side to it, but like that's my biggest takeaway from it is how much work that it takes, and the willingness to take all that work and make it one, work for you, and work it towards your end goal, you know? Yeah. So it's one, that's my biggest one. But my second biggest would be probably don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And that wasn't really a quote or something that anybody told me on the show. Like I was on Blake's team first, and he was awesome. He's a great dude. And then I lost my knockout round. I got stolen by Adam, and I finished the rest of the season out with him. Now, I grew up obviously listening to Adam Levine and Maroon 5 and stuff, and I just always liked that rock stuff, but I just thought that country music was just like we talked about earlier. Like I used to be that kind of like, oh, that ain't country, like, you know. So he kind of helped me realize that it's okay to like step out of the straight line country thing and like bring my own, because I didn't know who I was, you know, like I was still trying to figure myself out as an artist, and what does Josh Gallagher sound like? What does his music sound like? What does his brand look like? All that shit, you know? So he really helped me out in that aspect too. Like I feel like a lot of people would like to do some things that but they're a little bit scared to or nervous, because this lane right here might be all they know. And if they feel like they step out of it or try to introduce another influence into it, it's going to go off the rails. You know, it might turn and swerve a little bit until you figure it out. But once you figure it out, you're going to be right back on that path that you were before, but with a better mindset and a better outlook, most likely, at least for me anyway.
So you leave, you know, we talked about the rapid departure from Nashville to go out to LA to be on the voice. That's tomorrow.
Quick.
Going out there,
quick.
Team Blake, lose knockout round, Team Adam, show ends for you, return to Nashville. Right. Like, how was it night and day? I mean, just obviously it's going to be just because you have a different outlook. You have a different perspective. You've experienced something that a lot of people in Nashville hadn't experienced with that schedule and the rigor, you know, and the education that you got while you were there. But how different was Nashville for you getting back after being on the show, and obviously after the show aired?
It was physically it changed a lot. There was a lot of shit that happened that while I was out there those last couple months that I come back and I was like, when the fuck did that get put up? Like that kind of shit. So but as far as like around town and like the industry side of it, like it changed in the sense that people knew my name now, you know, like I'm not gonna. It's not a household name, and if I'm never a household name, that's fine. I just want people to hear my shit. That's
you
all,
are in my household. God damn it!
Yeah.
You are playing that.
Well,
shit.
Then fuck it. We're good. They're good. Then we're good.
Congratulations on your success. And also I apologize. You know, it's all I could do.
Right? Yeah. No, it's all good. No, like people knew, you know, or at least were starting to know who who Josh Gallagher was, which I thought was really cool because that's one thing that I've always, when I moved here to Nashville, is I want people to know who I am, whether that be through the artist side, being on stage in front of people, or from the songwriter side. That doesn't really matter to me. And I don't mean people know who I am. Like, I could give a shit if I was famous or not. I just want people to know whenever a song comes on, they go, oh, that's a Josh Gallagher song, right away. You know what I mean? Like that. I can give a fuck about the glitz or the glam or whatever. Fuck that. That shit don't interest me. But people started to recognize my name and ask me to come in and take meetings and sit down with this person, or, hey, I'd like to introduce you to this person or that person. And it was really, really cool, and there were a few times where I kind of had to maybe bite my lip or bite my tongue a little bit, because some of those people may or may not have been folks that I tried to reach out to in the past before the voice thing, but now, oh, because of, and then it was like, oh, now there's interest. Okay.
Oh, look, there's the fellow that was on TV. That's the fellow that was on the television.
He was on the TV. Yeah, right. Like that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying bad or talking bad about any of those folks at all. It's just like, it's hard sometimes to really, like, in a situation like that, it's hard to not be like, yeah, I've sat down with you like 4 times already, man. Like that kind of thing. Yeah. You just kind of take it and bite your tongue and grit your teeth a little bit and bitch to yourself about it afterwards. And then, but like, cause if you have the talent the whole time, it's just nobody has seen it until something like that happens, it's just one of those things. But, it was cool, man. It's, walking through the airport or not necessarily down the sidewalk or down the road or whatever, because here in Nashville, it's a little bit different, man. You can see, you could go out anywhere and see just about any country artist walking down the fucking sidewalk. Right. Like, I got off of it. So just like a cut little sidebar to that. After I got off of the show, or while I was on the show, I did a duet with Cam. We sang Burning House, her first single. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I got her number, and her and I still bullshit to this day here a little bit. But like, after I got off the show, I was like, well, that was cool. I'll probably never see her again, or it might be a few years until like I start climbing up the ladder a little bit. But like 2 weeks later, I got off the show, and I was at lunch at Oscars here in town with Lindsay on her lunch break, and she fucking comes walking in and getting her like food to go and shit. And I'm like, no shit. Like, so you just never know. Like, you see anybody at any random time. So not necessarily like getting recognized here in Nashville, but like more of like in the airport, or like, outside or at the bar at the hotel, whatever city we were staying at for the show we played at that night, like that kind of stuff, which is super cool to me. But there's also, like, at least for me, there's also kind of a period in my life where I had to like kind of like put myself in check a little bit, like, because you get off if you make it, if you're fortunate enough to make it on a show like that, that's incredible. That's a feat in and of itself. But if you can make it the whole way to the very fucking end, like, you're good. Like, people are gonna know who you are. So it's like, you kind of got to I come off the show and like, not necessarily walking around like I was, King Dick, like, oh, look at me. But like, as far as like booking shows and like all the like the number stuff on the back end, like things like that, I had to kind of put myself in check a little bit, man. Like, I did a little bit, because you get used to that. I don't want to say fame, but you kind of get used to the fame, I guess.
Yeah, the recognition.
Yeah, and you see, and that's never been me, and I had to like put myself in check a little bit for that. Like, I remember one time, I was, what was I doing? I can't remember what it was. I think I was talking to my booking agent or something like that, and they were the venue only had a budget of so and so, this or that, and I was like, I ain't doing that shit. I'm worth more than that. And I said that out loud, and as soon as I said it, I was like, oh my god. Like, I was like, hey, I gotta go. And I was like, I had to like self-loathe for a little bit. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, who do you think you are? Like, that kind of, so like, there's also like a little bit of negative side to it. And if you can catch yourself in that, and bring yourself back to earth. Because for a while there, when you're doing it, you're like, it feels like you're just you're hovering over top of yourself, like you're on top of the world, looking down at yourself, like, this is awesome. I have everything I've ever wanted. Like that kind of shit,
I am the king.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But like, you got to put yourself in check if that's your attitude, and that's never been my attitude towards anything ever. So I was like, I literally kind of had to beat myself up. Like I had to kick my ass about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it's important though, because I think because if you don't do that, if you don't have that moment and go, fuck, like I need to, like, because there are artists that don't.
Yeah.
They're like,
and
that's
one of my biggest things. Yes. And I hate that so much. I hate whenever you see like, or you hear a story about so-and-so, they were an asshole, or she was a bitch, or this or that or whatever, like I hate that shit, because like, you just like, there's no need to forget where you came from. You might be making fucking millions and billions of dollars, but that don't give you the right to think you're better than anybody or treat people like shit, like, and like, I'm a firm believer in, if you're starting to feel that way, go ram your head into the fucking wall a couple of times, like wake yourself up a little bit,
snap yourself out of it. Now
dude, for sure.
You get a chance to, to come back and really start to get some music out. Boots Like Mine obviously becomes a successful song for you. There's now you got music videos. Now you have a lot of content out there, and this continuing to forge forward with your career. I do have to name drop for you, because not many people, nobody that I know has ever had Garth Brooks say anything about it. I mean, Garth has never said anything about a lot of people, but you have. And I want to make sure that I get the quote right. Garth Brooks says, "This kid, as soon as he opens his mouth, you believe him." Like, how does, first off, where does that come from? And second of all, like, what is your, like, he says this about you, and you're like, is he got the right motherfucker here? I'm like, wait a minute, this, like me?
You mean me, right? You're talking to me, right? There's not someone over my shoulder that you're like fucking with me on, or what?
Who's the asshole behind me that you're talking about? I don't understand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it was cool. So that happened while I was on the show. Garth came on to be one of the mentors on there, and walked out on stage, and Adam is standing there, and they don't tell you at the time, at that point in the show, they didn't tell you because he was the second mentor. And then there was like then there was like Tim and Faith were on there for like one of those episodes too, or something like that. But Garth came in, and he was the live round mentor for every team. So like each team would get, in the beginning, each team would have their mentor per team. So there'll be 4 teams, 4 different mentors. Right. But Garth came in, and they did it with him for everybody. And it was cool, man. I wasn't nervous. I don't get nervous whenever I just never have. It's just never been me, because they're people. They just
put their pants on the same way.
Everybody knows their names. Yeah, right. So like, I walk out there and I start singing, and it was like right in the middle of the take. He was like, he shut everything down. He's like, "Hey, everybody, stop!" And then he came up to me, and then that's whenever he put, like, I have the screen. Where's the screenshot? Actually, my aunt took it's right up here. But my aunt took a screenshot of that part in the actual episode and printed it out for me. I had it hanging on my wall. And that's whenever he said he had both of his hands on my shoulders. And you can actually see it in the picture. I look like this. Like, from my side profile, I look like this. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I'm like, Garth Brooks has his hands on my shoulder. Like,
am I
he's talking he's talking directly to me. No, it was cool though, man. It was like to hear that kind of compliment from somebody as big as him. I mean, you want to talk about household fucking names. Like, he's probably the biggest one there ever is.
Yeah, globally too.
In country, global. That's what I mean. George Strait, Garth Brooks. Like that same shit. But it was kind of like I think that's whenever I got like awestruck a little bit, because I was like, no one's. I've heard that before. I'm not saying that like, not necessarily that exact quote, but like stuff like that, like from playing down on Broadway and stuff. Like, oh my God, you have such a beautiful voice and you're singing so well, and which is always great. I always love hearing that shit. But like when you hear it from somebody you look up to, it's like, fuck yeah.
That's right. I knew it.
Yeah. Like I fucking knew it. Yeah, I could feel it this whole time. I needed
Garth,
a little bit more confidence.
I needed Garth to Jesus me a little bit with his hands on my shoulders and be like, listen, child, listen.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Amazing. It was great, man. That was probably one of the biggest highlights of being on the show was meeting him. You know, that was pretty neat.
That's cool though. But you know, I know you got this is just so it's not typical you, but like I'm sure you had a full day of work. Then my dumbass is like, let's do a podcast, and then you have you have a show to do tonight. You got a baby coming in like 3 weeks. Which congratulations. Yep.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
It's a joy. You probably don't sleep now anyway. So like, what does it matter if you sleep less? You know?
No, dude. I'll be honest with you. I like man. I keep using this excuse, but it's not. I haven't driven a forklift or worked swing shift in 8 years, so I can't keep using that. But I mean, like, so before I moved down here, I worked swing shift and we swung every single week. So it wasn't like a month of this or a month of that. So like I never got my brain right to sleep. So I always use that excuse. Oh, I used to work swing shift. I can't sleep anymore. But I think it's just I can't turn my brain off. I don't sleep as it is anyway. You know, if I look at the clock and I'm like, fuck yeah, if I get 4 hours of sleep, I'm good to go for the rest of the day. You know, like, you know, take a little 4-hour nap and, you know, it fucking, you know, 2:30 in the morning, wake up 4 hours later. I'm like, yep, I'm fine. Let's go. Ready to roll. Are you tired? Fuck yeah, I'm tired, but we got shit to do.
Things, the to-do list doesn't just stop because I'm tired. There's shit to get done.
Right. Exactly. It actually keeps getting longer, but yeah, so it doesn't matter. I don't sleep enough. I don't sleep as it is anyway. So bring that baby here. Let's go.
Today, and people won't be hearing this obviously today, but when this does drop today that we're talking, new single came out today, Bar Fools, which is fantastic.
Yes,
when you jumped on the show here, I was like I said, I just put it on repeat on the old Amazon Music or whatever. I was letting it roll, getting the spirit.
I jumped on here and I was like, oh, I know that song. That's pretty cool.
I've heard that asshole before. Hey, oh, that's me. That's great.
Oh, that's me. I'm that asshole. Yeah, we're here for sure.
But new music out, and again, I want to get you off so you can go and spend some time with your wife, and then go and do a raucous show tonight. But like, what does besides fatherhood, like the rest of 2022, when you kind of look at it, you know, from where you are now, like what does the year look like for you? Is it? I mean, is more music? Is it, you know, getting, you know, some more dates out there? Like what's 2022 look like, or 2022 look like for you this year?
First of all, I do that shit all the time too, because I'm like 2020. Wait,
what the fuck? Like,
holy shit, it is 2020. Yeah,
it's like it's already.
Yesterday, this time last year was like, or this time yesterday was 2021. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's fucking time travel,
dude. It was
dude.
the beginning of 2022.
It's time travel,
it's 2.5.
And I can attest that in Nashville, like time travel is legit, because like we pulled in on Monday night, and then I was leaving Thursday. I'm like, what in the fuck just happened? Like, I don't know. I met some guys, and we're gonna do a thing. Why is it snowing here? I
just fucking got here.
Why is it snowing here in Nashville? Like ridiculously. So 2022. What does 2022 look like for Josh Gallagher?
2022 looks like a lot of music coming out. I got two full length records coming out this year. My first actual full length record will be out. The timeline's kind of changing a little bit because we have some other stuff that I can't really exactly talk about going on the back end. But, right, little teaser. But
that's called a tease.
Yeah, that's called that's what we call in the showbiz, a teaser. No. So I got a lot of music coming out. Two new records. My first record will be out first quarter of this year, so or early second quarter. And then first full 10-song record, which I've never done before. I've always released singles and then some EPs, and they've always done really, really well. But some of the stuff on like the Spotify end is starting to change to where they're starting to and starting to spin more albums instead of singles now. So I'm gonna play that and play that game. And I've never put out a full length record yet either. So if I can kill two birds with one stone, cool. Let's do it. A whole bunch of tour dates. We're continuing to add dates onto the calendar. We start in the end of March with a week out in Vegas out there, and then we just go for the rest of the year. A few weekends off and few weekends and weeks off, stuff like that, just to make sure that I still my wife still wants me to come home and hang out and be with me.
No, stay. Why don't you go ahead and stay out on the road, please? I got this whole
exactly.
thing.
Yeah, with the baby and stuff coming too. So it's this year's a little bit more strategically planned as far as tour dates and stuff. So I'll be home a little bit more than I would be normally, but we still got a lot of shows coming. And then at the end of the year, I'll be I got summer single coming out, 2 summer singles, or July. What is it? 1 June, 1 July. Another one in late August, and then a whole second full 10-song record coming out at the end of the year. So this will be my biggest year for putting out music. And then a lot of other good stuff that's in the pipe coming for the rest of this year. Like I said, I can't really speak on that shit right now, but you guys will be able to find out soon. And I'm gonna do something here. It's called a shameless plug. If you follow me on my socials, you'll be able to keep up with all that stuff.
Can they still join
Josh Gallagher music?
Can they still join the Camo Crew?
Can still join the Camo Crew. Yeah, you absolutely can. And even better than the Camo Crew, in my opinion, if you just shoot me a text, I got a community number. You can text me. It goes right to my phone, and I text everybody back and forth all the time.
So you can bother the shit out of Josh Gallagher.
Yeah, right, exactly. So bug the shit out of me at 2 a.m. I'll be up.
You're not going to be sleeping anyway. Hey,
right, I'm not going to be asleep. I'll be up, yeah, for sure.
And fine, what's up? Put your hands on my shoulders and tell me I'm a dream come true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome,
sure.
man. Well, again, congratulations on the new single. It is called Bar Fools. It is out now, available, I'm guessing, everywhere that music can be listened to and streamed and downloaded.
Yep.
So make sure you jump on that.
All the places.
New album coming out this year, the tour dates, all the stuff. Josh Gallagher Music on all the socials. We'll tag you in, of course, the show notes here and on our socials as well. Dude, it was great, man. This was fun. I feel like it's probably good that you have a show, because I'm like, well, if he doesn't,
dude, I'll be here all fucking night. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll probably
be here. I would hang out here. Yeah.
I'd probably run up.
I'd hang out with you here.
I need to get us some beers and probably some bourbon.
Yeah,
because we're just gonna talk shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're gonna
go grab another quick 6-pack real quick. We'll be here for a minute.
Run to the gas station. This will still be recording, but we should plan that, dude. Let's get you back on here and on a night you have off, and we'll drink and we'll solve all the world's problems and we won't tell anybody about it.
I would love to. Let's do it.
Awesome, buddy. Take care of yourself, man. We'll be in touch. And again, everybody go listen to the damn new single, Bar Fools, right now. Josh Gallagher. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for checking out the From the Captain's Quarters podcast. I am Cooper. Remember, wherever you are listening, whatever podcast platform you're listening on, please give us a 5-star rating. Please leave a review. And the biggest thing you can do to help spread the love of the show is to share it with your friends and family. We talk to all sorts of people, from musicians to business owners to off-road enthusiasts. We talk to everybody. So make sure you staple this one to your forehead as a podcast you want to get into your regular rotation. Find us on the social medias as well. Just search From the Captain's Quarters. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a high five. Appreciate you.